Welcome to Constangy Clips, the series with important employment law updates to help you stay ahead of legal challenges in the workplace and cyberspace. My name is Jason Friedman, and today I'm going to discuss a recent federal court decision that may drastically impact how many organizations compensate their employees. On November 15th, a federal court in the Eastern District of Texas vacated the U.S. Department of Labor's 2024 final rule. The now vacated final rule aimed to raise the minimum salary required for the FLSA's overtime and minimum wage exemptions. What is the Fair Labor Standards Act? The Fair Labor Standards Act, also known as the FLSA, is a federal law that, among other things, requires covered employers to pay employees a minimum hourly wage, currently $7.25 an hour, and overtime at a rate of 1.5 the employee's regular rate of pay for hours worked over 40 in a work week. There are, however, exemptions to the overtime provision of the FLSA. Many employers rely on these exemptions, including the executive, administrative, and professional exemptions, known as the EAP exemptions. To utilize one of these exemptions, employers must satisfy a three-pronged test. 1. Pay the employee via a salary, i.e. the salary basis test. 2. Pay the employee at or above the minimum salary level, i.e. the salary level test. And 3. Satisfy the duties requirements of the exemption, i.e. the duties test. While the duties tests vary depending on which EAP exemption the employer relies on, the salary basis and salary level tests apply across the board to the EAP exemptions. What should employers know about this decision? The decision centers around the DOL's 2024 final rule, which was an attempt to increase the minimum salary an employer would need to pay to utilize an EAP exemption. So what happened? The court vacated the final rule, holding that employers can continue to utilize the EAP exemptions while paying an employee $35,568 per year. The court also rejected the final rule's plan to automatically adjust salary thresholds every 3 years, stating it violated rulemaking procedures. The decision is a significant win for employers who use the EAP exemptions to pay employees via a salary with no overtime. And with a new administration taking office in January, it's unlikely the DOL will challenge the ruling. So, what should you do next? If you haven't increased salaries yet in anticipation of the final rule, you don't need to. You can stick to the 2019 salary levels, which are $35,568 for EAP employees, or $107,432 per year for employees falling under the highly compensated exemption. However, if you've already increased salaries to comply with the now vacated rule, you have a difficult decision to make. Depending on your jurisdiction, you may have the right to reduce salaries back to prior levels. The same is true for planned salary increases that have already been announced. However, this would almost certainly cause employee dissatisfaction, and many employers may prefer to keep the higher salaries rather than take a hit to employee morale. As you weigh your options, be sure to contact your labor and employment counsel for legal guidance and support. Thank you for watching. Be sure to follow Constangy on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and YouTube for important updates and more tips for minimizing risk in this dynamic legal landscape.